Hello, hello.
Hey there.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. I am going to give us until about 2:05 just to give a few other people an opportunity to get in. Um, but if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. Otherwise, we'll get started about 2:05. All right. We are going to get started here. So today's topic is campaigns. Before we get started, does anybody have any specific questions or things that you want to get from today's class specifically, or anything that I can help with unrelated to campaigns? All right, well, we will get started. I am going to switch up my screen here and share with you my Are you able to see my command page there?
Yes.
Excellent. Oh, whoops, wrong button. All right, so now you should be able to see my command page. I'm going to click the home button. As always, I like to remind you that it is always a good idea when in command to be using it in Google Chrome, and more importantly, to be using an incognito window. Command, while we have definitely slowed down some of the updates as of late, we are still updating things pretty frequently, and operating in an incognito window allows a little bit more flexibility in the browser and creates a few less issues. So if you're ever having an issue with something not working, best advice is always to log out, clear your cache, clear your cookies, log back in an incognito window and try it again. If it's still not working, then we may have an actual issue. All right, so we're going to focus today primarily on campaigns. And in campaigns, there's a couple things that I will, highlight here. First things first, and again, you'll have to forgive me for my internet. Hopefully it stays through and doesn't create too many issues for us, but it is a little slow. So for reference, the Campaigns applet is the megaphone looking icon on the left side of your home screen. In Campaigns, there's a couple different things that you can do here. The thing that we're going to focus on primarily for probably the biggest bulk of today is on paid ads, because that is one of the things that we have really leveraged really well within this campaign. I actually am going to show you how to run one. I actually have one that I have been wanting to do, but I've been saving it for this class so that we could demonstrate it together. So we'll work through creating a Facebook ad, or social media, I should say, because it's not limited to just Facebook. You also have the ability in here to do direct mail. Direct mail options include mailers for postcards and things like that that have gone out, just sold, just listed, those sorts of things. If you're trying to target a specific neighborhood, all of those options are available in here as well. I'll touch on that just a little bit. I'm going to show you what one of those looks like. Same thing. I just had a transaction closed, so I want to send out some of these postcards to this particular neighborhood. So we will look at that as well. And the other thing that we can do in here is social posts. Some of us are really good at posting on social media and kind of creating a following and having a curated collection, if you will. Some of us not so much. And so one of the things that this is helpful for those of us who aren't very good at it is it gives us the ability to schedule posts, to have content and create content right here within the platform, as well as post it onto our accounts for us. So you can create a whole schedule of things within here, and using the designs and things that Command has set up for you to use. What's also true here, and this is also really cool, is the video campaign. There are several video features that you're allowed to use that work really well for creating video content to put out onto social media. This is actually still kind of, we've had this feature for about a year now. We rolled it out last year at Family Reunion. And I know some enhancements are coming down the pipeline with this very soon. So you're going to have a lot more ability on this video creation platform as well. So that's kind of what we're going to talk about. We're going to go back to paid ads within campaigns. That's where we're going to get started today. All right, so I am going to create a new campaign. So you will see that option in the top right corner. You'll see too that there are social ads which are paid. There are search ads which are paid. So search ads would be like a Google search engine ad. So when you create a Google search engine ad, it puts you at the top of certain search results within certain categories. It allows you, it will say sponsored at the top, but it allows you to kind of create some leverage on the Google search pages. The same is true for social ads. They are sponsored ads that you will see on your Facebook or your Instagram. And these are targeted ads that will helpfully isolate certain types of people, be that buyers or sellers or a combination thereof. We're going to do a social ad today. And when you create this opportunity, it gives you the ability to say, all right, what is my goal here? Am I trying to advertise a listing? Am I advertising multiple listings? Am I trying to attract listings? Like, what is my goal here with this post? And the reason that it asks you these sorts of things is that it really wants to hone in on the algorithm. So depending on how you make a selection here, the algorithm for Facebook is set up in a different way. And so we're going to adjust our advertising to more appropriately match that algorithm. And that's why it's asking you what your goal is here. This is one of the unique features that Command and KW has with our exclusive partnership with Facebook, that even though you can go into your own Facebook account, especially if you have a Facebook business account, which is what you should have, especially if you're trying to do ads, when you go into your own Facebook account, you can create your own ads right there from within the Facebook platform. However, you will not have this feature because this is exclusive to KW. So this is one of those added benefits of our exclusive partnership within Facebook. So in this case, I am going to advertise a listing. So I have a piece of land that is up in McClellanville that is been on the market for a while, and so I want to create a new ad for it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to advertise a listing. In this case, I'm going to do Facebook and Instagram. I wanted to go on both platforms, and I'm going to test out and see which one I feel like does better, and we'll look at that as well. Set up the campaign. So once you click on set up campaign, it takes you into the next steps of the process. You'll see on the left side, these are the things that you need to do, and on the right side is kind of an example of what it looks like.
Jay, I'm sorry, right before you clicked set up campaign, did you check both Facebook and Instagram, or did you only do Facebook?
I did. I checked both. And in this
Okay.
case, like I said, I want to kind of test out and see which one I feel like has a better, activity rate. Some people prefer to just spend all their money in one platform, but it's a good idea to kind of spread it out over two. I will say this too, particularly, depending on who you're trying to target. One of the big differences between Facebook and Instagram is the active daily users. Instagram's biggest segment of active daily users are under 35. Facebook's biggest segment of active daily users are over 35. So it really depends kind of on who you're targeting with some of your advertising as to which method maybe you want to, go toward. But that is just something to kind of keep in mind.
Thanks.
I don't know why it's doing that, but all right. So I'm going to select the listing. This is the only one I have at the moment, so it pulls up really quickly and really easily. And then it gives me an option to look at the photo. Which one do I want to put on the ad? And like I said, the one on the right side shows you kind of an example of what it's going to look like as it starts to be built out. You get to look at it as if it were in a mobile version, so somebody's on somebody's phone, Instagram ad, or if you want to do an Instagram story, it gives you those options as well of what it's going to look like. All right, so look at this. This is new. Check out your new campaign. Showcase your value to future clients by creating quality ads. We went ahead and filled in as much as we could. Let's walk through now so you can review it in detail. So let's do this. I'm going to follow this along. This is new. I've never done this. You need a thumb-stopping headline to get the most clicks. Highlight the key things about your listing. Don't forget there's limited space, so less is more. So what this does is it brings in your main copy from the actual listing and puts, the first couple of lines right there on the top. Generally speaking, unless you're super creative with, writing and with words, I would probably just leave it however it is that it comes up. But you can get super creative here. And if you are one of those creative types, I would encourage you to, let your creativity shine through here. You're going to see there's a couple different things that come up here. So you've got your main copy, your headline. So the headline is one of those things that it says it's all about the headline. So you got to figure out something to put in there. All right, so there's my headline. Okay, so put in some context there. You want to put some information that kind of catches people's attention because this is, again, what's going to be read right there on the top. So you put that in, click next, then it takes you down. An image is worth 1,000 words. This is where we're going to configure the image. It's going to come up with the first photo, but you can go in and select several others. Or just one of them. So let me see. This is probably one of the better ones. And for whatever reason, I'm not letting me select that. Try that. Well, we may just keep the first picture because it's not allowing me to make any changes. Okay, go back. well. It's fun creating ads and running into glitches. I love this. Let's try it again. Okay, save that. Try the image one more time. It just does not want to work with me today. Come back. Haha, maybe now we've got it. We do. Sometimes you have to exit out and come back and it resets things. All right. So save that image. All right, so save that section. So what you want to do here is you just want to go through each one. So the name, the goal, the listing, add text. You want to make sure that each box has a check mark by it as you move through. Oh, it needs the logo. So I'm going to put this in. Let's see how that works. Yep. So you can put your own logo on if you have a logo. If not, we encourage you to use the Market Center logo. You can click on that, and that's what they refer to as the DBA logo. So click here to find your Market Center's logo. If you don't have it, it will show you how to go get it. But you can also use your own logo. If you're on a team, you can use a team logo here. Either one of those works depending on your preference. So now we're going to configure the Instagram and Facebook spend stuff. So obviously it's going to ask you which page, so you got to select your page. Sometimes if you've done this enough, it'll default, sometimes it won't. So first off, obviously you have to have your Facebook account connected, and then you'll be able to put these together. On the next part, it talks about Instagram ad position. So there's a difference between an Instagram ad and an Instagram story. Instagram ads are gonna scroll through the regular feed, just like you know, they're scrolling through and liking on Instagram. Instagram story is when they're watching stories from their followers or from the people that they're following. It'll be the story that kind of appears between, you know, from one person to the next. That's the sponsored ad story. In this case, for this particular ad that we're designing, I would say this is not really kind of designed for story. You can kind of create one that looks a little different. And for reference, if you don't know the difference between a story and an ad on Instagram, the ad or the post on Instagram is a square image with text underneath it, whereas a story is the entire dimension of your phone. So it's more of a vertical looking post, and it's, you know, a full screen version. And with stories, you tend to want it to have either video or some pretty vibrant photography. So that's what I would focus in on, those things. So in this case, I'm going to select Instagram ad. Then it asks you, do you want to use the Facebook lead generation form, or do you want to direct it to a site or landing page? This is really up to you and what you're trying to do here. So a Facebook lead generation form means that Facebook's going to ask them to fill out certain information in order to, you know, get anywhere from this ad, or you can direct them to a site or landing page where they can either fill out more information, or it takes them to information about the listing, you know, whatever. This is one of those things where you're paying for an ad. So in order for you to provide them with something, they have to give you something. And so that's how you kind of want to set this up. With this, you've got call to action buttons. So that means if they click on something, it's going to ask them, hey, learn more, sign up, apply now. Those are the three kind of options you have. For the most part, it's probably going to be learn more, because you want them to be able to look at the more details about the ad. Then you put in a follow-up URL destination. So once they click the ad, once they put in their information, where does their browser take them to next? And so that's what this is. You can choose a landing page, or you can do just an overall browser. I typically just have them go to my website unless I'm wanting to specify a specific landing page or specific property. In this case, I could do that because I am giving them information on the listing. However, because I'd rather capture their information and then me personally provide them that, I'm not going to direct them to the landing page. I'm going to capture their information and then I'm going to send it to them later. So I'm just going to direct them to my website directly. Ad targeting. So ad targeting is where oftentimes real estate agents can get in trouble. And this is one of the benefits of using a command platform, because your ad targeting does not, within the Facebook platform, does not violate any federal fair housing guidelines. So you cannot discriminate against people based on certain characteristics as it pertains to federal fair housing. And so this does not allow you those sorts of controls, whereas the Facebook algorithm platform does. So you definitely want to be careful there if you're going about it through Facebook directly. On here, you don't have to worry about it. It doesn't really allow you to specify those sorts of controls. Primarily what it does is it selects a location and a radius. Now you can go in and get a little bit more creative with that, and you can add interest based on people who have certain sorts of desires or whatever. So in this case, because my particular listing is equestrian friendly, I'm gonna try to isolate people who have, you know, desires or interest in equestrian. If that's an option. It does not appear to be. So let's look at horses. That's not an option. Let's see what I could do here. Okay, agriculture, maybe. There's all sorts of, you know, interests that Facebook has kind of identified people with. So you can go through and select some of those to be more specific. You can also change the overall radius. Expand it out, making it bigger, or you could even change the location altogether. So in this case, I'm actually going to change it from Charleston to McClellanville. And I'm going to do 30 miles. So that gives me just a little bit more of an understanding of where we're going. So I'm going to save that information. All right, now I'm going to discuss my budget. So how much money am I wanting to spend? How long do I want to run the ad? And on which platform do I want to invest more money? So you can split it up a couple different ways. This says 10 days to run the ad. I am actually, let's see, so 10 days, today is Wednesday. So that would mean 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 days actually might work really well because that gives you 2 weekends for it to appear. So that could be something you wanted to kind of keep the same, or you could shorten it up. The reason that you want to pay attention to this is because based on the amount of money that you're spending, and in this case, I'm showing $30 is what I've suggested here. It's going to spend $1.50 per day per channel. So that means $15 is going to go to Instagram, $15 is going to go to Facebook. And you want to be able to kind of spread that out. So with the amount of, cost per click in this situation, you're probably not going to have an enormous amount of exposure over a 10-day period at that price. So you want to either shorten the number of days or spend more money to get more, impressions of the ad. So I'm going to reduce the number of days just a little bit. I'm going to start it tomorrow and narrow it down to only go through Tuesday. So that takes me down to 5 days, and it gives me a little bit more of a spend per day. So I hopefully will have a bigger impact over the next few days on this. Given that I'm advertising a listing, and that particular listing is a land listing, so land doesn't move quite as quickly as our current, single family homes are moving. However, it's possible that you put this ad out there and then it's under contract in 2 days, and then you've spent money on an ad that really and truly you should have canceled. So again, narrowing down that time may actually be beneficial in this market for multiple reasons. So a couple different things here too. So it automatically defaults to distributing evenly across the channels. So it's going to just split the money half and half, or you can select for it to use automatic placement. And so what this does is Facebook uses their algorithm to intelligently spend your money based on your audience and your performance. So you set your budget and allow Facebook to decide where it's sending those ads and how much money it's going in which direction. That's what I would encourage, especially if you're kind of new to this. I would do that instead. And then that's going to default to the dynamic option of up to $3 per day in each platform. Any questions about that? All right. So as it pertains to budget and running the ad, obviously you have to have a card on file within the system. So make sure you have that set up. If you're on a team, perhaps there's a budget amount for your team to spend, and you can do this within the team platform, and it all goes to the team account. That's obviously a team decision on different things, so make sure you understand how that works within your team. But it works either way for solo or for team. And then when you're ready to go, you just click publish. And I'm going to save this as a draft for a moment because I do have to go in and change my card because otherwise this one's not going to work. The one that I have on file is not correct. Any questions about that process?
Where does your card on file live?
So it lives within the marketplace. And so we'll look at that here in just a second. So anything that you do through the command platform, that requires money can all go through the same card that you have on file. And so if you update it once, it should update for everything. I will say that I do know that previously, for some strange reason, it did not require a zip code with the old card. So if you're going in to make any changes, it is going to require that aspect of things. And forgive me, my internet's being slow. Here we go. All right. So you can go right up here within campaigns to the payments tab. And that's where you can adjust your cards that you have on file. In this case, I actually need to delete both of these because I think they're both wrong. And now I gotta find my card. Bear with me 1 second. Sorry about that. I had to go find my wallet. All right, so we can change this. Delete, yes. Delete, yes. And then add a payment method. All right. There we go. My new card is added, so I'm ready to go. So this is where you will see this. You'll also see this remaining credits bar at the top right here too. If you've created an ad and you've budgeted $30 for the ad, when you process the publish button or you click publish, it's going to process your card for $30. Even though it may not spend that entire $30, that's what's going to be processed on your card. If you cancel that ad or it doesn't spend the whole amount or something like that, what you're going to see in the top is the remaining credits. So it's going to be a balance basically left within your ad account that you'll be able to spend at a later date. It is also my understanding, and I've never done it, so I don't know exactly how true it is. It's also my understanding that if, say, for instance, you were to have a balance in there of, $58, and you didn't want to do this anymore, or maybe you were even leaving KW, you can go in and get a refund on that balance. But I've not actually done it, so I don't really know for sure how it works. But it is my understanding that you can do that. All right, any questions about that on the campaign ad? I'm gonna go back to the paid ad there, and go ahead and publish it so that you'll see what it looks like, and you'll be able to start seeing. Granted, we won't see it today because it actually isn't going to be posted until tomorrow, but I will be able to go ahead and publish it. And again, my slow internet, always fun. All right. So it should have everything saved. Yep. So I am going to save and publish. And then it asks you, because you could have several cards, it's going to ask you which card do you want to use, and then click create. And then you should be good to go. What you also see is I think it'll take you back to the main page here where you'll see kind of the outcomes of other ad campaigns that you may have run. It's really important when you're creating these ads that you understand that these leads are going to come in at, you know, all kinds of times and stuff, and you will get a notification through your email. But as with any paid lead, you want to try to reach out to those people as quickly as possible, and with some urgency. It's also a good idea to put them on a smart plan that will follow up with them for you over the next several days, until they either say yes, they want more information, until they tell you to go, you know, do something fun to yourself. One of those two things will happen, and at least that way you'll know what kind of to do with this particular ad. You're also going to see that when you do this, it's got a pending review. Facebook and KWRI both have a review process to make sure that your ad doesn't violate any federal fair housing laws or any other, you know, local rules or Facebook policies. For the most part, there's never really an issue here. I have seen a couple times where a couple different words will trigger the algorithm to not allow it to go through. But if that is the case and you have questions about it, let me know and we can circle back. But that is a review process. It usually only takes a couple hours for them to approve it. That's why you always want to start the ad the following day to make sure you have, you know, given yourself enough time to get it approved. What you're then going to see too is some of these acronyms up here. And so what I'm trying to remember what CPM means, because it's cost per something. I can't remember what the M stands for, but in this case, this is cost per click, and this is cost per lead clicked. So this shows you like 29 people in this particular ad that I'm referencing here. 29 people clicked on it. It cost me 69 cents every time one of those people clicked on it, for a total of 169 per, I think this is per day. But here's the better part, is 11,863 people saw this. That means that it appeared on somebody's Facebook 11,863 times. So even though somebody didn't click on it, it's still getting some kind of visibility and traction. So from a branding standpoint, particularly if you're just trying to create a brand and promote a brand and identify yourself within a certain section of people, this is super important, and it's really an effective way for you to do that, because even if they're not clicking on the particular ad, they're still seeing it quite a lot. And Facebook is really one of the cheapest platforms for you to do these sorts of ads on. So these are just some data and analytics. And obviously, you can get even more detailed with some of this information in the report screen. Any questions about that at all? We have a few more minutes. I'm going to try to show you a couple other things.
Yeah, Jay, I'm sorry. So you had it go to your website And then how are
Correct.
you capturing the actual leads from there? So how do you, let's say somebody does click on it,
So
they are
the
interested.
lead, yep. So if they click on it, Facebook has a lead capture form. So we selected that option for to how to capture the lead. And that means that Facebook's going to use their name, which is already provided through their Facebook account. And then it's going to ask them to put in either a phone number or an email. The benefit of Facebook is that it already has this information. All they have to do is click OK and it goes right in. And that's how you get the lead information. That comes directly to you into Command, into your lead pool. So you get to be able to disseminate that however you see fit. Once they get directed to your website, you could direct them to something where they also fill out more information. That's really up to you, but it's really just directing them to something that signifies kind of like, oh, they made it to this point. Now, in some cases, if you're advertising a listing, you may want to capture their information and then send them to the listing landing page so that it gives them all the information about that specific listing. It really just depends on what your goal is there.
Okay, so I'm sorry, I thought for your destination, you picked your website.
I did, but you have to keep in mind, so it's capturing information first through the Facebook lead capture form.
So
Once
even if
they
you don't
submit
choose
that-
even if I don't choose the destination to be the Facebook lead generation form, it'll still capture it. Okay, okay.
It's either that, or if you select, and I forget what the other option is, you have to select
Site or landing page.
Correct. So you can have it go directly without capturing information. I wouldn't encourage that because then you're not going to have the lead information to go for. What that is there for is if you are sending them somewhere where it's asking them to fill out something else, you can skip the Facebook lead generation form and go directly to your form. So that could be a website capture form directly. It could be a Google form. I mean, it could be a lot of different things. But that's the difference between the two. With the Facebook lead generation form, or even if you're directing them to another platform, once they're finished there, the system's going to automatically redirect them to another site. That's what that last one was, that I'm directing them to my website. All right, any other questions about that? All right, so I'm going to show you a direct mail campaign right now as well. So these are really fun because it's actually a tangible piece of information that comes out to you. You can actually get a copy of it and it goes into people's mailboxes. So it's a little bit more of a tangible thing as opposed to Facebook ads. There's probably a little bit less of a return on investment here. However, if you are doing business in one particular neighborhood and you're sending these things out pretty regularly, every time you do it, your return on investment goes up because you're more likely to grab people when you do this repetitively. With Facebook, you can do it and get some traction pretty quickly without having to do a whole lot of repetitive nature stuff. With this version of farming, we call it, you really need to be a little bit more repetitive to really start to see some results from it. So I'm going to start with here, creating a new direct mail campaign. In this case, I'm going to say that I'm advertising or I'm attracting listings because that's what I'm trying to do. And so I'm going to call this my just sold. And I'm going to put Indigo Palms because that's the neighborhood that I am going to try to send this out to. All right. Default templates provided. You'll see what that looks like here in just a second. And you get to make some tweaks to it, obviously. All right. So I am going to select, now in this case, this was not my listing. This was one that I represented the buyer, but that's okay. So I'm going to adjust this to say all listings. And then I'm just going to start typing in the property address and you should be able to find it. spelled that wrong. Oh, I need to change that to all status because it is no longer active. Here we go. This one right here is the one. And so then it's going to pull in the information here on the property. I'm going to put listing status just sold because that's the method that we're going here. In this case, this house was 4 bedrooms and 2.5 baths. Let me make sure that was correct. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Yep, 2.5 baths. All right, and I'm going to save that. And oh, way too much information in there. All right. Choose one of the photos to use. Obviously, you want to try to use one of the outside ones usually. And that's a low resolution photo. Let's see if I have. I may have to come back and select the photo here in a second. If it's your listing, obviously you have access to these photos in a much higher resolution. So we'll come back to that. Agent, make sure your information is correct. Save. Market Center, make sure that that stuff is correct. All right, verify. It's going to ask you to select that one. All right, so now it's just a matter of the photo I got to fix, and then we're going to do the targeting. So this is the fun part. So it goes into the local targeting, and you get to decide how many cards you want. Now there's also, and that might be, yeah, configure targeting. That's the next step. So I'm going to say 200, that's $118. I'm going to scale that back a little bit to like 150. Because in all fairness, I'm not even sure if there's that many houses in here. And you can adjust this a little bit too once you get into the configure targeting section. So we're going to save that, and then we're going to go to configure targeting if it will allow us, and it is not allowing us because I have not completed that photo. All right, bear with me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can get this photo really quick so we can move along. Because this is the coolest part of this, is the next section. All right, 8537. Just
Jay, while you're doing this, I wanted to ask the difference in starting here and over in designs to do a direct mail.
Really and truly, either one works. So with designs, you can create one of the a custom postcard and do it, make it look however you want. With this going directly here, it's giving you one of 4 choices that you will choose from. So that's the only real difference. It just depends on which you prefer. Do you want to make one that's custom to you, or do you want to just choose one of the ones that they have set up? All right, let's see if that will work now that I've done that. Oh, and it and it started over. I love technology. And so this is where you do that too. You can say default templates provided or upload a custom template. So you can start here and already have one that you maybe have saved in design, that's fine too. Or you can just start directly in design, either one. All right. And I don't know if it's my internet or if it's command, but it seems we're stuck here.
That's okay. I get an idea, and I noticed that the other lady dropped off.
So one thing I will say, and this is one of the coolest parts of this, is when it goes to the next step of configuring the location, it literally will show you a map and have all the little dots representing all the houses with the addresses, and you can pick and choose, you know, which addresses you want to send it to. So if you know that one's already on the market, for instance, and you don't want to market them, save that 37 cents or whatever and spend it on somebody else. You know, you can kind of pick and choose there. To me, that's the coolest part, is because it really shows you all the addresses nearby, and there's a direct connection to that with the United States Postal Service. And then you just go from there, and it's pretty straightforward otherwise. It takes, if you submitted it today, they will likely go into production the next business day, which means they'll be in the mail the following business day. So if you do it on a Wednesday, they'll be put in the mail on Friday.
Wow.
So it's pretty fast, and you can actually get it set up so that you receive a copy of it too. That way you know when it actually does go out.
So just real quick, and I know we both probably need to go, but I'd like to do a direct mailer to my neighborhood. I want to start farming my neighborhood. I don't have a listing, so those 4 out of the campaign section that we were just in, those don't work. And even when I picked print and direct mail and do my brand as opposed to highlight a listing, I still didn't get any different ones. I still got the same ones. So it sounds like I need to start over. Yeah. So I need to start over in design. And so it sounds like what you're saying is I would design it over in design, save that, and then come over to campaigns and still push it out that way. Follow that.
Exactly.
Process. Okay.
Exactly. It's
Awesome.
just, it's not going to highlight a listing, because that's what these are designed to do, the standard template.
Okay.
But yes, once you, whatever you want to market to them, you create that and then bring it in on the backside.
Perfect. Thank you for your time today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Let me know how that goes if you have any questions or trouble. And great to hear from you once you get it sent out.
Thanks, Jay. Take care.
Absolutely. You too.